Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. No West Ham currently due to international break, but I'm here to talk about the contenders for the Hammer of the Year trophy. Um, there's been some good performances this year, and there's been some good moments. Match saving saves, goal scoring in the last minute. There's been a mix, yeah. But I'm going to here to talk about a few players that I think are worthy of being mentioned in this sort of bracket. And then I'm going to give you my sort of top five down to my number one. Um, for me, I'm going to start off with one player that I believe has just come in and embraced the club and everything, and that's Edson Alvarez. I think he's been absolutely superb. Superb player for West Ham. Alvarez for me is a player that I look at and I think, right, that he bleeds it. He feels the club. Yeah. When we signed him, I was over the moon, as I always said, and Lucas and I sort of had backwards and forwards. He wasn't having anything. I was having a lot of it, and eventually I won. So yeah, shout out to me. But I think what he's done brilliant at West Ham so far. The only issue with Alvarez currently right now is that the yellow cards are a major issue for West Ham. Yeah, he gets silly yellow cards, and there's getting booked, and then there's getting consistently booked in stupid moments, which eventually costs you. Do you know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I think he's been excellent. I really do. Right, and I can't question him at all in the slightest in what he has done. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's gonna be in the running for Hammer of the Year. Yeah, I think, let's be honest, no one expects him to hit the ground running like he did in the first game against Brighton. I think it was where he was just thrown in. It was like a duck to water. I will say that. Next up is Tomas Soucek, who for me has been quite surprising. I'm not gonna lie. The last minute goals that he has scored this season, Nottingham Forest, Burnley, Everton, to name them three games. Also Arsenal away, which got us on the road to a victory. He scored big goals, Tomas Soucek, this year, and he deserves a bit of respect. Obviously, people don't like him for his on the ball ability, but his positional ability and his last minute sort of throwing his head on everything and trying to score us goals is key to where we are currently right now. If you take away them points, we're nowhere near where we are currently right now, and that is down to Tomas Soucek scoring late winners. I think he has sort of risen up a little bit to a point. Is he the man that we really want in this sort of defensive midfield position? I don't think so. I think if you have Alvarez on one side and you have another sort of box to box lethal player on the other side, yeah, who can sort of pass the ball, move the ball fast, and is pretty good on the ball, then I don't think Tomas Soucek will be needed. But currently, right now at West Ham, Tomas Soucek has done a pretty good job. Has done a pretty good job this season so far. Long may it continue. He's a man who just scores key goals for West Ham, and that can't be questioned ever. So he is going to be there or thereabouts for Ham of the Year this year. But will he be in my top five? We will see. Next up is Emerson. Now, ever since Prague last year, Emerson has just gone on leaps and bounds. Yeah. He's a sort of left-sided player that West Ham have needed for a long time. Listen, Aaron Cresswell has been a good servant to West Ham, but he cannot bomb up and down the wing like Emerson can. He can't take people on. He can cross a ball, Cresswell, but he definitely can't do some of the stuff that Emerson can do. I think Emerson's been a breath of fresh air this year also. Yeah. There was question marks last season about Emerson, and come towards the back end of the season last year, David Moyes had to make a decision in Prague. Do you stick with your trustworthy player in Cresswell, or do you go with the Emerson that has won trophies elsewhere? He went with Emerson, and it's worked basically. I think his partnership with Paqueta is unique, and I'm going to be honest, them two do work well together. When they click very very well together. But when one of them's missing, the other one is sort of non-existent to a point. I think the goal against Brentford at home this season has been, well, was a top goal, and it could be a potential as West Ham's goal of the season. But as a player, I like Emerson. Yeah, he has his off days, but when he's on it, he's on it, and I think he's definitely in the running for Hammer of the Year. Next up is, let's have a look. Let's go to Alphonse Areola. Now, people think he is going to win the Hammer of the Year trophy award, so to speak. For me, Not so much. I think he's a very, very good goalkeeper. I was screaming for him to be signed by West Ham United a few years ago. People wanted to sign Sam Johnson and people like that back in the day. I was like, no, you go out and get Alphonse Areola, a man who's played for PSG and Real Madrid. He's a very, very good goalkeeper. Has he kept us in games this year, Areola? Absolutely. Absolutely. But that's his job. He's paid to stop the ball from going in the net. It's not our fault that our defence is allowing these shots to come in and he's having to bail out our defence multiple times. Um, but you can't question him. Yeah, he has saved us points this year. He has won us games on his own, and he's kept us in games when the goings got tough. He's definitely in my top five. I'm not going to lie about it. But will he be my number one? You're going to find out shortly. Next up is Lucas Paqueta. Now, interesting one for me, right? West Ham lose Lucas Paqueta for about 6 to 8 weeks. West Ham become crap all of a sudden. Yeah, can't set up anything, can't do anything, just crap. He comes back, and then we start hitting a patch of form again. Yeah, which is, to say the least, like freaky. Yeah, but he is a very, very good player. He makes defenders think about him and teams think about him a lot more than the rest of our team, which allows to open up space for your likes of Mohammed Kudus, Jared Bowens, and Mikel Antonio's. Uh, for me, definitely in my top five, yeah. But I do feel in this season it's been in and out. In December, he was unstoppable. Yeah, he played very, very well against Wolves at home. He got 3 assists in that game. He played well against Manchester United. He come off against Arsenal, and then the sort of injuries started to appear in early 2024. But you can't question him. Another one who's a top player. He's going to be sorely missed if he does leave, which I do think he does leave in the summer. But he has been very, very good for us this season. And even in Europa League, yeah, he scored that goal against Freiburg in the group game. Like, big jump, header, great goal. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't question that. So he will be in there, my top five. Next up is, I'm going to be honest, I think the signing of West Ham's sort of summer transfer window, and that is Mohammed Kudus. For me, excellent, superb. Payet vibes all day long. Not as good as Payet, as in sort of taking control of game, but impact. I've been screaming this for a long time with Mohammed Kudus, and I said when he arrived, I went, this guy's got Dimitri Payet vibes all over him. Every time he picks the ball up, I always feel confident that something's going to happen, and I've never questioned what he's doing. Never, not once. Even if he has a shot, I think, you know what, next time, Mo, right, you get in that position, you're going to let a shot sort of spin away, sort of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I think some of the goals he scored this year, Freiburg, Brentford, two of them goals were absolute top class goals. Yeah, he saved us in games. I remember Newcastle, we was 2-1 down, and he scored in the late in the day to get us a point. He's a top player. Yeah, let's have it right. He started his sort of West Ham career at Luton away in a 2-1 win, and he come off for 4 minutes. The very next game, I think we have Newcastle, and he ends up coming on and saving us in that one. He's a top player. Moyes took his time to bed him into the team at the start, but he's a full starter now. Yeah, and the goal against Freiburg the other week was something of quality. Even the second goal he scored, yeah, great teamwork. And do you know what? He's finishing. He's just electric. Yeah, he's like a Jared Bowen, but he's just not Jared Bowen. Do you know what I'm saying? And like, if you've got two Bowens in your side, you've got half a chance. And if at the minute we have, and Mohammed Kudus has done, not only just scored goals, yeah, he's assisted many goals. I remember the game against Burnley away late in the day. Ball comes in from him, Soucek, goal, 90th minute, wins us the game. Everton the other week, ball comes in, Soucek, 90th minute, 2-1, and then we go on to win 3-1. Mo's a good player. Mo's a very, very good player. And it's going to be touch and go for him from now to the end of the season. Now, this all could change from now to the end of the season. If West Ham go on a run and players hit form or go out of form, this could change. But at present, he's definitely in the running. He's definitely up there. I think he's been absolutely top draw this year. Right, he's had games where he's been quiet. Don't get me wrong, but you're going to have that, yeah. But first season in the Premier League, he's hit it like a duck to water. Can't question him. Mohammed Kudus will definitely be in my top five. Next up is Jared Bowen. What a player. What a player. Uh, Top goal scorer at West Ham currently right now. He's hit an hat-trick this year when we played Brentford the other week. He scored us goals in Europe. He scored us goals in the Premier League, in the League Cup games. He is Mr. West Ham. This man is like the new Mr. West Ham of our football club. Obviously, when Mark Noble left and obviously Declan Rice left, there's a major gap in our sort of side between new players and old. Jared Bowen has turned up this year, and obviously the role of being from right-sided winger to striker, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Obviously, I think on the right he's more effective. I think he brings other people into the game more. I think the way he approaches the game is sort of on the front foot. He turns, he runs, he defends. But as a centre forward this year, he's done a really, really good job, extremely good job, and that needs to be credited by the manager also. Um, he for me is definitely going to be in my top five. Yeah, and I am I am positive that he will end up with 20 goals this season in the Premier League. Yeah. So for me, like I just look at him. I think the goal against Spurs away is a massive goal. Yeah, that's always a big fixture. He scored big goals in big moments. Even Nottingham Forest at home, I think he scored the goal to equalise to get it to 2-2, which sort of got us back in the running. And even recently, the Brentford game, flawless, absolute flawless. But listen, I love Bowen. Yeah, I think Bowen has signed that new 7-year deal. I think he's here for the rest of his career. I don't think he's going nowhere. I think West Ham would have to get in excess of 80 to 100 million to get rid of him. Um, and I think he's settled. I think he feels now he's the man. Yeah, he was the man last year when he scored that goal in Prague, and for me, he will always be a West Ham legend for that. Yeah, whatever he does from now to the end of his career, that goal in Prague cements him as a West Ham legend because, like, scoring the goal late in the day to win us the game in Prague, that doesn't happen very often, especially at West Ham United Football Club. So, my top five in reverse order is this. I've gone for number five and I've gone for Lucas Paqueta. Yeah. I think for the ability and everything else that he brings to the side, I think the injury in that sort of January/February session has sort of not made him in that sort of bracket of being in the top three, top two. When he's on the pitch, he's very, very good. Yeah. But he's very up and down, very, very good. Yeah. At home, pretty good. Away from home, can go missing. I remember a game against Villa and he just wasn't there. You know what I mean? He wasn't left him back in East London. So he's my number five. My number four is, let me have a look. I am going to go Tomas Soucek. Yeah. I was going to put Emerson in, but I've changed my mind. I'm going to go Tomas Soucek. I think Tomas Soucek got a lot of pelters last year, ahead of a lot of pelters, and he has scored us some big, big goals in the last minutes to win us games. That has to be respected. You can score one goal, yeah, and say fair enough, but if you're scoring 2, 3, 4 goals in the last minute, that shows you the commitment of the man, yeah, and what he's doing. He goes in at number four for me. I think the influence of him, I think the goals, I think Paqueta just hasn't been there, but where Tomas Soucek has been there all season, he just pips it at number four. Number three is Alphonse Areola. Not my number one. People are saying about him being number one. Not for me. He's a paid goalkeeper. He's paid to stop balls from going in the back of the net. I think what he has done, he's done very, very well. But that's what I want out of a top class goalkeeper. When you play for Real Madrid and PSG, I expect you to be top draw, and he is top draw. So he goes in at number three. Obviously, he's made some massive saves in big games. Brighton away, the Everton game recently, there was another one. But there's also been times where he's been a bit iffy in moments. Yeah, even against Everton away. Yeah, for how good he was, he comes out, misses the ball completely, and Tomas Soucek had to bail him out in that game, and then eventually goes on up the other end and scored. So, for me, Areola becomes the third place for me. Number two is Mohammed Kudus. I think it is literally neck and neck with him, and obviously Jared Bowen will be my number one. Yeah, Mo has done very, very well, extremely well. Like, I can't question him at all. Yeah, there's not an ounce of me that doubts anything about this geezer. He's defensively very good. He's direct. He does everything that you want to do. The problem is he just hasn't scored as many goals as Jared Bowen. He just hasn't. Yeah, and that's a fact, right? But from now to the end of the season, if he goes on a run, it's going to be out of them too. Yeah, I think the impact the man's made this season has been absolutely superb, and you can't question it. You just can't question nothing about him. Yeah, and that is why it's very, very tight for me between number one, number two. And finally, my number one is Mr. Jared Bowen. I think being up front this year, he had to take a lot of responsibility. Yeah, he was forced into a position where he wanted to sort of learn the striker role, and he took to it like a duck to water to a point. Yeah, is he better on the right? Obviously, he obviously is, but he's learning his trade as a centre forward. And there's been times this season where he's been absolutely deadly. Right, I think the goals speak for themselves. I think what he has actually done is he's done very, very well, and he's leading by example. Yeah, and what I like about West Ham is you can rotate the front three all over the place, and defenses get a bit concerned at who they're picking up. Jared Bowen is my hammer of the year right now. Yeah, and rightfully so. I think he bleeds it. He feels this club. Yeah, he's been at this club since 2020, and ever since he comes to his club, he's embraced the fans. He's embraced what it means to be a West Ham man, basically. Yeah, and so far this season, he hasn't really let us down. I don't remember games where Jared Bowen I felt like has let down the team. I think he's tried in games, but he's been isolated in games. But when he has turned it on, he's turned it on very well, and he's won us games on his own to a point. So Jared Bowen is my number one, yeah, for Hammer of the Year this year. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Give me your top five in reverse order, and let me know why you think that whoever it is from five to one. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to E20 Zone TV, hit notification bell and all that. I will be back next week at some point to build up to the Newcastle game, a lovely 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday on Easter bank holiday weekend. You just can't make it up with this club. The last time there was a game over that sort of Easter period was a classic a few years ago, and we lost 3-2. We had three left-sided centre halves in Diop, Bonner, and Dawson. And I'll never forget it because I was at a zoo at the time and I was getting the notifications on my phone and I was like, I've got to do a video about this later on, which, yeah, wasn't good. And my missus wasn't happy also because I was watching it as I was walking around the zoo. So, yeah, it is what it is. You know what I mean? West Ham on the move all day long. So, yeah, uh, do all of that and more. And basically, I will see you again in the next one. Jared Bowen is my number one. But who is your number one? Take care.